观众朋友好，欢迎收看最新一期的子天访谈录 SD Talk Show， 我是子天 Skydo。Welcome to SD Talk Show and welcome to Sugarland. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Sky.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but in addition to excitement, I'm very happy.
Yes.
To interview somebody that we know.
Yes, that's why I say welcome to Sugarland. Please introduce to our audience for our two beautiful ladies, a guest and a handsome guy.
Yes, we have two special guests. First is the Mayor Pro Tem of Sugarland, Miss Jennifer Lane. Stay in the right lane. Mayor Pro Tem. And the Councilman at Large, business owners, William Ferguson. They're both here. Would you please say hello to our audience and introduce yourself?
Hello, hi, I'm Jennifer Lane, your at-large two council member for the city of Sugarland.
And hello, I am William Ferguson. I too am a city council member with Sugarland. I'm at large 1.
Well, if you pay attention today, we have a very special object.
Yeah, the cowboy hat.
A cowboy hat.
I want to see you wear the hat.
One day I will. I also learned from the councilman that you should not be facing the inside to the lady.
Yes.
Oh.
And that we're going to learn a lot more in addition to that today. So thank you so much for being our show. I know that you are Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem means like a vice mayor, right? Would you explain that position?
Yes, it means that in the event that the mayor might have an emergency or something like that, or has a busy schedule, then the Mayor Pro Tem steps up and can run a council meeting or make decisions in an emergency situation. So basically a backup to the mayor.
Right, and then sometimes I simplify it. I said vice mayor. And then how long have you been a council member?
I've served 2 terms, I'm on 4th year. Yes, I was first elected in 2018, and then I ran unopposed in 2020.
Right.
And so now I'm on the ballot again here for 2022, May 7th.
Ready for another ride. How about you, Councilman at Large?
Well, I have been a council member for less than 2 years. This would be on May 7th. Should I win, it would be my 2nd term going into the May 7th election.
Right. That's great. Okay, to start, tell me a little bit about your story. When did you move to Sugarland, and what is your connection with Sugarland, and why have you decided to go into politics?
Yeah.
Well, it all started, I'm from Fort Bend County. I grew up here. I've lived here all of my life. My parents went to Lamar High School. My grandmother taught at Jane Long Elementary, which is by the county courthouse. I also had 4 family members that worked for Imperial Sugar. When my grandmother was going to go into the 7th grade, she started working for Imperial Sugar and Sac Sugar for 43 years. So I have a very strong family ties to the area. I'm very sentimentally attached. I got my degree in business from LeTourneau University and had a career in working in human resources in many different industries. I've worked in software, consulting, and in the arts and in the medical field. I was a stay-at-home mother for 15 years. I have 3 beautiful boys. They're all older now, but I was very grateful to have that opportunity to be a stay-at-home mother. About 10 years ago, my mother passed away, and I got very much involved in my church. So I started out as a volunteer, and the priest at our church asked me to go to youth ministry training. And so I got my basic certification in youth ministry at the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston, in the Catholic Church. And I had a youth group, a junior high youth group of about 45 kids. I did that for about 5 years. And I was at a basketball game, and someone had asked me if I'd be interested in joining the PTO at the school. And I was like, sure, I will
What does that stand for?
Parent-Teacher Organization. And so I had never participated in PTO before, but I was like, sure, I'll give that a try. And my position was public relations. And we were going to buy a class set of laptops for the school. And I was interested in understanding the budget of the school better. And so that's when I did my first FOIA, which is Freedom of Information Act, where any entity that's funded by tax dollars, you have the right to know those budgets and those entities, so you can request that information. So long story short, I got to know all of my school board elected officials. I got to know top management within the school district. And I was then appointed to my first bond committee in 2017 for the school district. I was successful in getting $3 million in renovations for my alma mater, Terry High School, growing up. And I realized at that point that, especially on my PTO board, that it seemed like the members were a little bit afraid to go to a school board meeting.
Right.
And I said, well, there's no reason to be afraid to attend any council meeting or school board meeting or commissioners court meeting, because these are people who are representing you. These are your elected officials. Right. So I decided then to go to a school board meeting and introduce myself, and that's when I realized how important our local elections are, because the decisions made at the local level affect your school tax rate, it affects your streets, it affects your safety, the development around you and attracting those employers. So it's something that I feel called to do. I want my government to be efficient and transparent and to be respectful and welcoming to the community. And so I feel like that's my calling. And that's really how my little way of serving my country.
Right. Your story has been very inspirational. I mean, and it has been proven because of you. Several people start seeing the accessibility to the government and how they look at government differently. Would you like to interview?
Yes.
As the councilman at large?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our cowboy.
Far from a cowboy. I do like cowboy hats. I would like to tell both of you that actually I grew up right down the street at Willcrest, and I don't know if you know the Beach Nut Willcrest area.
Oh yeah, right.
And that's where my grandparents lived forever. So growing up, I grew up in Alief. I was right here. And I went through Alief Chambers Elementary,
yes,
Alief Middle School, and then Alief Hastings. Yes. So this was my home here. And as I came out and I went to the University of Houston, my wife and I, she had finished college, we got married. We've been together now since 1984 dating. She's my high school sweetheart. And we've been married, this year will be 32 years. And
congratulations.
Thank you. She's amazing. It's all because she's amazing, believe me. And so when we decided to buy our first home, we had moved to the Fort Bend County area in Pecan Grove. And I became a police officer in Fort Bend in Stafford, Texas, right next to Sugar Land. And so that's when I started my law enforcement career in '92. And I did that for about 15 years. I loved it. I loved serving the people. There's probably few things more enjoyable and exciting than serving the people. And Danny and I, you and I share a very common passion for liberty. And so protecting that is a big deal to me. So I went from Stafford to, I decided to get back into my own personal business. And today I run a small fence building company called Liberty Home Pros. Right. And that small company serves the community out in Greatwood and out in the Sugar Land area. But what's great is I decided while I was in Pecan Grove I wanted to move into Sugar Land about 15 years ago. And so I moved into Greatwood, where I'm thankful that Jennifer also lives in Sugar Land. And we didn't have a relationship, friendship, or anything at the time. And just over the last several years, she and I have got to know each other, and now we serve together in council. But mine was similar. People came to me and said, William, would you mind running for city council? We don't have a relationship. We just feel like, and so ultimately I ended up running, and I ran during a very difficult 2020 when COVID was new to everyone, and there was also this anger towards law enforcement. Right. And one of my favorite lines, while people were calling for less police and less law and order, I said, hey, well, if you don't believe in defunding the police, put a police officer on city council. And boy, did they ever. Our numbers came in, they were incredible. They wanted law enforcement, they want fire department, they want everything that's good about government. But what I've learned about Sugar Land is they want value, they want service. They don't just want a government to dictate what's right and wrong for them. They want to be a part of that. And it's really been fun being a part with Jennifer and the rest of our council. We listen to the people all the time, and we call for the people to get engaged and be a part of the decisions that need to be made. I mean, everything has to be made, these decisions. Sugar Land did not become great just by chance. It became great by great people making great decisions for the future of the city. And so it's really been a joy to serve everyone. And as you know, Danny, because you live in and around that area and you serve that area, there's not one culture. There's all cultures in Sugar Land. And so I have learned so much from being just a young guy from Alief, right down the street from here. And now I have been blessed to know so many different cultures and traditions. So it's been a great joy.
And it shows in your actions. It's not only about talks. Your advantage is that you grow up from here.
Yes, sir.
You've seen the transformations of this land.
Yes, sir.
You see the evolving process. I remember when I attended Clement High School in 1984.
Wow.
It used to be nothing, William.
Nothing.
It used to be cornfield and sugar cane. And then now, I mean, it changed from a very simple society to a very highly complicated. So tell us, within your few years of serving, what is your highlight of your accomplishment? Let's start with you.
Well, so if you were at Clements, I was like right across the river, and watching those cornfields and all of that develop as well over the past 50 years, right?
Yes.
So it has been really beautiful on how everything has unfolded.
Yes.
In the city of Sugar Land and how we've become an international city. And I really believe that that is definitely a strength. And we can use that educationally for our children so that they can learn all different cultures and about different religions and learn. That's extremely special to our area. So I would say I'm a relationship builder. I like to recruit problem solvers. And we have a very much involved community in our county, and we have people all across the political spectrum. And what is so special about serving for the city of Sugar Land and for serving for cities in general and school boards is you're in a nonpartisan position. But what I really enjoy is meeting different people and bridging those relationships. And if it takes, we could be on opposite ends of an issue. And if it could take a 15-minute coffee or a 2-hour lunch or whatever it may be, I like to be able to develop a friendship. That's most important. So it's important for us to teach our children too.
You're accessible.
We're accessible, and to also see our adults being able to bridge those relationships. I think that is that's really the number one thing that we need to focus on in our community.
You know, I can help to ask you. I want you to focus on the highlight of your performance, but I try to visualize. I take myself back. You know, as a little boy, little girl was playing on the cornfield. Have you ever imagined that one day Sugar Land turn into what it is today? You talk about the town center. It's like an icon of an international tourist. You know, every time I have guests, we take them there. It's no longer Sugar Land, but it feels like it's a common cultural area.
Yes, the courtyard.
But you see that would happen when you were young.
I did not see that coming. But it has become an opportunity for people to gather as a community and to express prayer.
Yes.
Express their thoughts, to dance, to exercise, to enjoy music, food.
And it's open to everybody.
And it's open to everybody, and it's become almost like a regional area for people to come and gather for special events, and that's extremely special. And so another great accomplishment I feel that we've done as a council is we've gotten through a pandemic. We've gotten through a flood.
Gosh.
We've gotten through a 1,000-year event flood. We've passed a $91 million bond with the confidence of the public, and we've got all those projects moving forward to make sure that, you know, our real estate remains, high in value and intact. We also made it through a freeze. So we're also support our law enforcement. And so and by doing that, we develop really good relationships with the public, with our law enforcement.
Right.
Our law enforcement does a really good job of outreach and has that strong community relationship, and that's extremely important. The number one thing in our city is to be safe. You can't have good economic development if you don't have, being a real estate developer, that your city has to be safe, number one. Right. So.
Danny, I love this conversation, but I have to also point back to your experience in council as well. And so I believe, because I've gotten to know you pretty well, the greatest thing that's happened to me over the last 2 years is I see how I have impacted people's liberty. And I love it. I love when people walk up to me and they don't look like me, they don't practice the same religions, they don't have anything in common with me except for one thing. They love that I represented them in a situation that was a concern for them. There is nothing greater than having someone I've never met before walk up, want to put their arm around me and take a picture with me because something I did for one of their family members or their neighbors. It is the greatest feeling ever. Because the reality is, and I think Jennifer can speak to this, the reality is it's really not that difficult once we know there's a problem. You remember, once you know there's a problem, there's nothing to fixing it, generally speaking. But most people, they stay back and they don't want to tell us, and then they do, and we fix it. And it's a beautiful thing. And so as a council member, in Sugar Land, could I have ever imagined Town Square, ready? Constellation Field, Space Cowboys, Smart Financial, the airport now, hold on now, Zip Line, Adventure, we're going to be, all of this, the University of Houston, Technical Center that's going in. People have no idea what is about to happen at the University of Houston alone. And one day, in a year, in 2 years, if we do this again, you're going to ask Jennifer and I and go, did you envision that? And we're going to go, no. It's amazing. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Great men and great women opened their minds and they had a vision. And whatever that vision is, it is playing itself out all over our community. And it's a great joy because at the same time, while it's playing out, our hands are open wide saying, come in here, bring who you are, and make this community better together, because that's what works. Yeah. It just works.
Yeah. So a lot of people, when they start running, they said, I care this and that. But I've known you for so long, not because I'm trying to promote you, but your action and your compassion had reflect that long time ago. I mean, how you reach out to the homeless, how you went to different cities. That's way before you decided to run. So, sometimes actions speak louder than words.
So, Danny,
is that right, Sky?
There are, they affect me as you say that, and I think of all the things that I have done, all the joyful things that I've done. There is nothing greater than helping someone that is down and out and they are desperate.
That's you.
And whether it's in a role as a council member, a police officer, a neighbor, a friend, whatever, that is what gives me my joy. And you watch me because you are a part of some of the fun that I do.
Yes.
Whether I'm in Florida or whatever state I'm in, wherever I'm at, the joy of helping someone that is broken is the greatest joy.
Right. So would you say that caring is the most important character or quality that a politician must have? Caring?
I would say caring, absolutely.
Because if you don't care, then what is it that you have to offer? But in order to care, you have to understand people's need. And some people just pop up and say, I care for my community. Where the hell have you been? How can you care about the community when you have never been a part of the communities? And tell me about your activities. How close are you with the people way before you get involved? I know that you serve in the PTO and all that, but you were with the people, right? You know the needs from the home associations, and then it's accumulated.
So one of my favorite sayings, I don't remember who taught me this, and it's still held true, and I hope our children never forget this saying, and that is, if you want to show people how much you care about them, watch this. You tell them, and then you use words. You tell them through your actions, and then you use words. Don't tell people how much you care about them without doing something. No No one cares that you honestly, because I see it all the time. I'm really worried about you, Danny. They'll say things like that. But where are they? Why are they not helping you? But when they help you first and then give words, it works. So go get dirty, go have fun, serve your community. Because without empathy and caring, empathy is something you pretty much have to teach, okay? You need to teach empathy. If you have empathy, which is caring, okay? It's all going to work out fine. No matter what assets and tools we have available in the city, we're going to apply those to people that need the help.
Right.
But if we don't know, if we're not out there, and believe me, Jennifer and I and the rest of our council, I think we're in every aspect of every event going on in our city. We know our community. We're in HOAs. We're everywhere. Right. And it works. We're in business there. We're in development there. We're everywhere. We love it.
Yeah. You think your background in human resources help?
Oh, yes,
Jennifer?
yes, because working in the field of human resources and working in any corporation, you learn that the tone is set at the top of the organization.
Yes.
So that's real important, especially in a city, that our attitude and our ability to work as a team, that culture trickles down throughout the entire organization, 850 employees that serve the entire city. So that tone is extremely important. Also, what I've been doing, as I've been working in the school district, when people look to move to a city to live or to get a job or what have you, they start looking at the school districts. And so it's real important to me to understand exactly what's going on in our school system. It's been a struggle for our school district to attract and retain teachers. The amount of teachers that are going back into the field has gone down. It's been hard to find people to come in and sub for them when they're out. And some of our seventh graders coming into school, the last time they were in school, they were in the 5th grade. They were in elementary school. So it's been a little bit of a challenge for our kids getting back into the structure of things. And so it's important for we talked about this in a retreat that we had for our city to have a good partnership with our school district and to always help them with things that they may need. So to develop those relationships with the city, the county, our school district, TxDOT, CenterPoint, whatever it may be, to help as we go through development throughout the county, things like that, to make sure that we've got good mobility as getting to and from school. So it's something that we need to be mindful of, that our children are going through, our school teachers are going through, and so that's what I've been involved in here lately. So,
okay, Sky, you must have a question for the Mayor Pro Tem Jennifer and Councilman at Large William Ferguson.
Yeah, I want to ask some personal question.
okay.
I like calling you Vice Mayor, because it's really matching your smiling.
Smiling.
Thank you.
That is nice. Smiling council member.
Yes, I want to know what's a challenge for you. Maybe, for example, you are a female, you have family, you are a wife, you are a mother, you have to take care of your kids, then you have to take care of your work, you have to make the balance.
Wow.
Yes, that's important. And so what I try to do is I have a calendar. And I pick and choose what my priorities are. And sometimes I have to schedule in time for myself, special time with my family and my children to make sure I have that one-on-one quality time with my children. Okay? City council it can be a full-time job if you want to make it out to be, especially if you're new coming on to council. That can take up a lot of your time learning everything. Because we do have 3 council meetings a month, and I'm on several different committees that meet about once a month. And so I am a single mom, and I do work. So it is a balance for sure. But I will tell you that once I got involved and I started to realize that our community really needed strong leaders, or people just to come in and ask those questions. I have a care button that I just can't turn off. It's like, now that I'm involved, there's no going backward. And so I think it's important too for my children to see me involved and talk about, the things that are going on in our community. They learn, and they're proud, and they're really glad that I'm serving. So it's been quite a journey for us, but it all started out in youth ministry in church. And when I was telling my kids, I was telling my youth ministry, my group, if you don't think that one person can make a difference, they can. It's been proven throughout history.
Yes.
When one person steps up, and I tell the kids in school too, I said, don't wait for someone else to do it. You need to find that inspiration within yourself and that courage. We talk about Abraham Lincoln, a president who was barely elected twice and assassinated because he stood for the decency of the human being, respecting the decency of the human being. And that took a lot of courage, and that's something to be very proud of in our country. And we can all find that all exists within all of us, that inspiration and that caring and that courage, and to love our country and to serve our country.
Thank you. So I know our cowboy grew up here,
Yes, ma'am.
this area.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you want to talk something to our audience then? Because you grew up this area, and our Southern News group were based in Chinatown.
Well, I don't mind saying, I go so far back in this area, and I don't even know if Danny remembers this, but Willcrest did not run all the way through to Bel Air. Do you remember that?
What year was that, William?
Oh, I was
80
little,
something?
so I was born in 68. I'm going to say it was around 74, 75, 78.
Okay.
But we would walk to school down Willcrest, and you would walk across the bridge where the ditch was, right here at Willcrest.
Yes, yeah.
You would walk across the bridge, you would keep going to elementary school. You didn't think about the things we do today. And I would walk all the way home from elementary school. And now Willcrest is going so fast. I don't know if I'd ride a bicycle down that road, but yes.
What did change? It had 3 names now. Willcrest,
Murphy, Willcrest, and 1092.
1092, University, and whatever.
So this was my home growing up, and my grandparents, if I may indulge for just a moment, my father had taken us when I was a little boy to Canada, and my father ended up leaving us in Canada, and my grandfather left from here, flew to Canada, brought us back to where we started, and my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he raised me right down the street here, and I am forever, ever, ever thankful, and I reflect who he was, because he was about serving others first, and that came from my grandfather was the coolest guy ever, and he lived right down the road, and that's what planted me here when I was a young man. So, and if I may, one more thing. Jennifer was saying something great about the power or the ability of just one individual. Danny, I know you and I share each other's social media. A great thing that happened just the other night in Fort Bend ISD. There's a young lady, her name was Alyssa Ferguson, and she's not related to me. I would claim her in a minute if I could, but she's not related to me. She died a few years ago. It was cancer. And the reason I bring her up is as she was in her most difficult time, just a young lady, she was given a wish from Make-A-Wish. And her wish was that they would, that water well would be dug in Africa. And so to this very day, long after Alyssa has been gone, and now Fort Bend ISD named their newest school after Alyssa just the other night, a unanimous vote. But they are still drinking fresh, clean water in Africa because of Alyssa Ferguson, one young lady who died of cancer. And so one can change the world across the world, literally. And that was just the other night, and I'm still thrilled about what Fort Bend ISD did for that one. It's a beautiful story.
What a powerful story to validate a point.
It is.
I like
She's
people
right.
said, there's every point has a story. Every story has a point.
Yes.
I was in awe. I was fascinated when you got take me back to the histories. I don't know, I love history. I just trying to visualize how it was when I first came, and then it used to be cornfield, and but life is about change, changing. And you also mentioned something that I really like, William. You give credit where the credit belongs.
Yes, sir.
Because times evolve.
Yes, sir.
People said, methodology change.
Yes, sir.
But principle remain the same.
Yes, sir.
I mean, so basically, you get your predecessors. I've seen several great mayors from Sugar Land, including the current mayor, who've done an outstanding job. And then now you just take apart, then you just build up on it.
That's it.
Isn't it beautiful?
And I believe as long as we are staying focused on a central target, and that is ultimately we're growing families. We're growing healthy units of people that live together, they're successful together, they have fun together. And as long as we stay focused on that and not on us, your success, my success, or their success, as long as we stay focused on them, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, the principle is still the same, right, Jennifer?
Yes.
The principle never changed. I mean, a safe place to live, work, play, and shop.
Every time.
Has that changed?
I have met, in this role, in being on council, I have met people from all over the world, in different religions, young and old, and basically everybody wants the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be safe and to be able to live in peace, raise their family, to be able to receive a good education, decide what they want to be, when they grow up, or whatever they want to do, and enjoy those freedoms. Everybody has that same desire to be able to live on this beautiful planet that we all share together. And I really think that, with our diversity, we also have, a lot of diverse ideas, and we can pull in the best of the best and create something new. We got to plant a seed somewhere to change the world, to start with, whether it be alternative energy or some technology or what have you, different ways to build houses, whatever it may be. Yeah. We can start building that in Sugar Land. There's no reason why we can't provide a launch pad for our youth so that they can take off and do all new things with their innovation and be entrepreneurs and scholars and innovators. We can provide that for them.
Right. I have a different thought. You seem to be very open-minded and work well with the international communities. But people said they celebrate diversity. But to me, I think we respect diversity, but shouldn't we celebrate common values?
Yes.
You know what I mean? We have a different backgrounds and all that. But we come to this land because we love America.
Sure.
We love the constitutions. We love what this country about.
Don't get me started.
I know that's who you are.
Yes, sir.
You cannot just be somebody else when you become a councilman, because it's who you are.
Yes, sir.
So I love the fact that you stay true to it. But we have diversity, which is great. More ideas, more ways of doing things. But the common ground, that I think that's your strength. You seem to be able to reach that. The fact that you come out here with us and reach out.
We love you guys.
Yeah, because you don't just sit in the office, look at the government, you know what I mean? The fact is that people are afraid of government. Tell me about that. Should the government be afraid of the people, or should the people be afraid of the government?
If I may, there should always be, if I may,
Please do.
If you want a great democratic society, the government should always have a healthy fear of the people.
Healthy fear.
A healthy fear of the people. The people should want to engage the government. The people should want the government to do what they're assigned to do. But the people should never fear the government in a healthy, democratic society. And history proves that. Proves it. And the only way we're going to protect that, Danny, and you know this, the only way we protect that is to educate our children on history. On history. Your experiences in and out of this country, your experiences in and out of the textbook, you educate your children to that, they'll be okay. But if they forget the history or they're never taught the history, you're not going to have a very healthy democratic society. There's nothing greater. It's the greatest gift that we've ever been given, is the whole function and style of this government. And so as Jennifer and I sit here as elected officials, the reality is we are only two representing 111,000 people. Those are the ones we should be listening to and serving always. But they have to engage us. They have to tell us what is important to them so that she and I can make that happen for them. That's our role.
But to do that, you have to get trust, right?
That's
Right. It's important to build to build that trust with the community, and everyone in a leadership position should always be coming from an attitude of servitude. And knowing that when you're leading a group or when you're supporting a group, you always support from behind, never out in front. And so that always encouraging people to be the best versions of themselves, to listen and respond, and to do your homework and come up with the best solutions. But the public really needs to should be able to trust their elected officials, and that's where we come in. That's where I come in.
And you are doing something about it.
That they can trust us.
Right.
We are approachable.
Right.
We are available. You can contact us. That we have an email address. That is what we're there for.
You like that, Sky? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed today.
No, thank you.
Everything the talk.
Yeah. You sitting right next to politician, but you don't feel like politician.
I don't consider myself a politician.
I know. It's funny.
Yeah.
I used to be in politics, but I hate politicians. It's so paradoxical.
Can I add one more thing
Yes, please,
about
please.
why I believe Sugar Land is so successful?
Yes.
And Jennifer hit on it earlier, and I think that if we want any local and national level of government to be successful, ultimately it needs to be nonpartisan. Now, when I say that, people look at me and they go, how does that work?
Is that overly ambitious?
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it? But think about that for a minute. It works so well in Sugar Land. Not one of the council members ever think of, let's do this for partisan reasons. Not one time. I've been there 2 years. I've sat there. I know she's been there longer. And not one time have I heard a partisan thought. Not one time.
Yeah.
Danny.
Well, that's the beauty of the
works.
structure of councilman. Wow.
So could it happen on a national level?
Just come
That's
and go.
ultimately not my worry. I'll tell you what, as long as we can keep that locally and nonpartisan, everybody matters, every opinion, every culture, every value, everybody matters locally, we'll let the national people do what they do, but we have to remain nonpartisan, and we do it well.
Right. Now you know
Yeah.
how passionate he is, right?
Yeah.
I think we got about a few more minutes, right? So,
Yeah.
so what we would like to highlight on, our Mayor Pro Tem Jennifer Lane and our Councilman at Large William Ferguson took us back to some memory of of Fort Bend and Sugar Land, and they share with us a little bit of the highlight, and they share with us about the core values and accomplishment. What is it that you want people to know about you personally?
Yeah.
Personally, about Jennifer Lane.
I want them to know that I'm extremely sentimentally attached to the area that I grew up in. And I want everyone that lives here, that moves here, to know that spirit of the neighborhood love and the community love, and to really know that they are standing in the greatest state in the United States of America. More people move to the United States than any other country. They move to Texas more than any other state.
That's the fact. Yeah.
And they're moving right here to this area that we're sitting in more than any other area. And we live in a very great state, a very safe place. And I want them to feel welcome. I want them to feel loved and respected. I want them to enjoy their lives. So, and I'm here to serve.
Awesome, awesome. We want to keep you in the office. I love that attitude. You know, when I was on council, I always reminded myself, William, I said the title will come and go. But if you hold on to that title, then when one day, if you're no longer then a council, a mayor pro tem, then who will you be? But the fact that, people know you for who you are.
Thank
I
you.
wish you a lot of, not luck, but a lot of blessing, and continue. Please continue, because it take accumulate experience. You cannot do things overnight. The learning curve. You cannot jump in and do the work. So please take advantage of the momentum. And I know you work so well with the current mayor and current. So please use that synergy to do its best. It's not about Sugar Land.
No.
I mean, it would politically define the line, but after all, it's all interacted. Can you imagine if something, maybe we have a hole in Sugar Land?
Absolutely.
Yeah. With that, thank you and good luck.
And
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you both for everything that you do for the community and for your radio station,
Sure.
your television, and everything that you do for your outreach to the community. That is so important. And for your public service and being involved, that's so very important to help bridge these relationships and to invite us to come on and to do some outreach to the community. That means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Sky, you know, something just dawned on me. Do you realize that he has sang the national anthem and she has sang the national anthem?
Don't bring that up.
In a public setting. The two of them have both done that in a public setting.
Are you kidding
I
me?
respect you both.
I'd like to request a duo.
And I have the video. I think I can send it to you.
Oh, wow. I would love that. Thank you.
Another time.
And in the future, Sky, I think we're going to ask for an auction. Auction. What do you think?
So do you want to see the last thing on the hat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when we come, by the way, when you come up to a lady, and you have a
Okay.
cowboy hat on. Anytime you come up to a lady, always with your left hand. You take your hat off to a lady, never show her the bottom.
Okay.
Right? You always at least take it off, or you'll see some people, some cowboys, he'll tip the hat. Because he wants her to know he respects her. And that's how he does it. He takes his hat off with his left hand.
I've learned something new today. You forgot to say yeehaw.
Yeehaw! Yeehaw in Texas, y'all.
Okay.
Spice
Thank
Cowboys.
you so much. Yes,
Thank
thank you
you,
so
Scott.
much
Thank
today.
you, Danny.
I want to say early voting is 4月25到5月3号 ，Election Day 5月7号，请投我们漂亮的 Jennifer and William. And thank you for today for coming to our show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for inviting us.
这就是今天的子天访谈录 SD Talk Show. I see you next week.